ready to go live here. Niiamah Ashong here. Thanks for being around. I got my glasses on today, so you know that what we're doing here is serious. I'm going to give us a chance for people to come on here and make sure that we're connected all the way through, and then I will give you a little bit of context for what we're doing here right now, and then we will go ahead and dive into everything. All right, so we should be online with everyone right now. Good to see you all. Niiamah Ashong here, founder of Outliers Edge, which is a movement that helps people lead the change they were put on this planet for, and build the engines that go ahead to and sustain it. Like that's what we do. I believe that there's something that comes from you being unique in the way that you show up as not just an outsider but an outlier. And one of the things that I'm really passionate about is I believe that the people who are going to change this world aren't going to be like every other person out there. They're not going to be the average person. They're going to be the outlier, the people who've done things that are different than the norm or who live a life that's just different than others. And one of the things I know the challenges that comes along with it, challenges of finding, is this aligned with me? What what will people think about this? Am I an imposter? And right now, one of the biggest things for me is how do we actually make sure that we can like sustain this? Because there are other systems, other things that have been put in place that work, and what I'm doing is something different. And so today we're going to be focusing on actually building out some of the components of the engine. Y'all are finding me like we're in the middle of our 10,000 minutes live game right now, and so I was actually having a conversation with one of my clients here, and we were getting into the process of building out um, a dashboard related to like what she specifically is building. I realized that through the process, I'm like, if you want, we can go live and just like do this there and have it go on. And she graciously said yes to that. I'm gonna bring on Brittany here real quick. Brittany, thanks being you. Let's just have a quick chat before we go on and bring on like the dashboard itself. Thanks for being awesome. Like Brittany's like literally she's like, yeah, let's just do it. you know? And what I love about this, I'm taking off the glasses, so it's another level of seriousness. But I want to thank you, Brittany, for one just being open to this. I feel like this is like the way that the outliers are. Like we're like, all right, let's just do it. Two outliers, you'll see this with me. One of the things I like to do is like I love to give people experiences. Right? It's not just about it's not just theory with me. What I've realized is like, especially as someone who's doing things that I don't know what I'm doing a lot of times. No one's telling me how to do this. No one's teaching me how to be an outlier. That's part of what makes this movement like this movement. And so as a result of it, I have to constantly be reinventing myself and also figuring out like what does that mean to do it. And I've simply chosen to like live out loud while doing it or learn out loud really as it's happening. And I see Brittany here as someone who's like I really respect you, Brittany, for choosing to do the same. You know, like she had no clue we were going to do this. We had our time, and we were like, let's take on this extra project. Um, and she said yes. So Brittany, if you're cool with that, I want to just like use some time, let people know who you are, let them know more about what you're doing overall, and then I'll ask you probably one or two more questions, and then we'll just get into like the building part. Sound good?
Absolutely. Sounds good.
Yeah. So yeah, Neil, she had no clue this was coming. So like we're just playing here. So Brittany, yeah, just give outliers a chance to get to know about you and the business that you're building and the movement that you stand for.
Cool. Hi, Outliers. I'm Brittany Cosgrove. I am a coach in the transformation space. So I help people find that thing that's on their heart, that thing that feels really good, really exciting, that edge that I want more, I want what's next. I help people bring that into this world in a way that feels really authentic, really aligned, really nourishing from the inside out. My background is in somatic work, emotional mastery, and working with the subconscious. And from there, I help people transform their blocks and the things that keep them stuck and playing small into stepping stones on the way to where they want to go. I would say that my mission is really just helping people live life on their terms. You've got one life. It should be a life that you feel passionate about, that you feel excited about, a life that you're falling in love with every single day. And that's what I help people cultivate.
Lovely, lovely, lovely. Brittany, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad that Outliers are getting a chance to get to know you. So Outliers, like Brittany and I were working, and then we came to the place of like looking to create a dashboard to really outline the journey that people take when they go through the process of growth with her as she's building out the business. So where you're going to be able to see some of the behind the scenes components of it all. What we're building right now will probably end up being an ongoing tool that I have and share out here. But I want to be able to do it in a way that we get a chance to walk through it together, Brittany. Make sure that it actually like focuses on you. What you'll find in this conversation, for anyone that's watching the live stream, like, please feel free to leave any comments you want. We will see the comments come in here, and we can answer it. If you have any questions for Brittany around like what she does, or what she's feeling, or any of those things, like, go ahead, leave a comment, and we'll respond to it as we can. For the most part, we're going to focus here now, though, on actually just making sure that we are creating what we need to create, and that we have a tool. We'll spend about a half hour doing this today, and then we're going to wrap up for today. Wherever we get to, we get to, and then over time you'll see us kind of bring this tool out in the future, and it's just going to be ready. But for right now, we're going to go and create this. Brittany, anything else for you? Anything you want to say? How do people get in touch with you? By the way, if they come in and they're just like, hey, I like whatever that process is, or however whatever your energy is, like I like to leave room for like all rooms of serendipity to come in. So how do people get in touch with you if that's what they want to do?
Yeah, come say hi to me over on Instagram. You can find me at brittany.cosgrove. Brittany's a little different. It's BRITTNI.COSGROVE. And I'd love for you to say hi.
Yeah, awesome. There, like, allies. One of the things I just want to call in before we get to the spreadsheet is like, I'm a meta person, right? So it's not do as I say, but it's like do as I do, or like let's see, like I'm going to be doing it as well. And so I want to bring in that meta lens with Brittany, right? Like this is what I get about you, Brittany. Like, you've done the work to the point where you can show up any day in any way and already be ready. There was no list of things to come in. There was no expectation. There was no, hey, this is where this conversation was going to go. I had an idea, and you're like, yeah, let's run with it. And since then, every single second, like, we didn't even go through like a run of play. Like, this is how, because I don't know, right? I'm literally making it up in real time. I'm like, oh, you know what? Brittany's being really cool. We should make sure that they know how cool she is, and we're leaning into that. And so, like, for any of you out there, outliers that are like I want to make sure I'm calling out the meta part of this, because yes, there's the coaching component that what she has, but who she bees is also very strong. And that level of just like ongoing easeful confidence that doesn't come easy, but and has been worked on. Like, that's one of the things that I think that you can look forward to when you spend time in Brittany's world. So I'm glad that you get a chance to experience her, and like we can talk about it. We can have all the marketing stuff around it, but like, she lives it, and she lives it by saying yes. You get what I'm saying? So like, just know, like, that part can't be faked. That part can't be like marketed to. It is just who she bees. And I know that if you spend time with her in her world, you'll get some similar experience, right? So with that being said, let's get into the work. Outliers, I'm going to let you know the same thing I let Brittany know, which is that I know where we're heading, but I'm making this up this time around, like in real time. There's a lot of messiness that will come in. We'll start doing something. I'm like, oh wait, we have to go back, or whatever it is. And like the message that was actually my cue to let us know that, like, oh, we need to come on and potentially put this into the live stream format, because we're gonna be creating in real time. So I'm gonna go over and focus purely on the screen. I'll zoom in a bit here just so we can get to a good level of seeing. So Brittany, I'll use you to like just be our proxy for everyone else out there. How does it look? Can you see the screen pretty well?
Yeah, that looks good to me.
All right, cool. So y'all, what we're going to be creating here is essentially we want to. Brittany has a unique way of bringing people into her business. It involves uh, showing up with genuine connection, bringing in some high level actual support, and then inviting them into different opportunities to continue working with them. And Brittany, I'll let you speak to that if you want to in a bit. But what we're going to do right now is really get into what is her game, so that we can see with clarity how how her client creation, she's building in a very genuine way to Brittany. This is how she wants to build her business, right? So we're going to see, like, all right, given that you're building this in a genuine way, how do we track it along the way, and how do we know how it's performing along the way, so that we then come in and say, as we're looking to improve it and to expand the impact that we're having, and make sure we're doing it in a sustainable way. And to me, sustainable way means that you both your energy is good and you're getting the finances to be able to continue it. We're able to put our energies into the places that most require some additional support, as opposed to just trying to fix something that may not even be broken. Right. So what we're going to do right now is, yeah, let's just dive into it. So we're going to build this out here. I'm going to actually just build. It's funny, y'all. I haven't done like a lot of spread. build in years. Like I used to like play in Excel. Have Google Docs. So I feel like how quickly do I feel dated when I just say that. Maybe I won't say that going forward. Um, this is going to be created probably in two tabs. One is going to be a dashboard page, which synthesizes and collates all the information, and the other one's going to be like an inputs page, and that's going to be on a daily basis, like or basically what's happening with um, each client along the way, or each potential client along the way. And then what we'll do is that we'll create the individual client journey on this page that you're going to see here, and then at another time I'll go and create the dashboard that then goes and aggregates this information. Now, we also use Go High Level. I'm sure that you can do this in Go High Level at some point, but right now I'm going to start it off in Excel, and you can watch our process and see where you can take it. All right, cool. So, Brittany, I can't see you. If there's anything you want to say, just go ahead, unmute yourself, say it out loud. Ask me any questions. Every question you ask is going to be beneficial for both you, me, because I want to learn how to actually like why am I actually doing what I'm doing, and then for anyone that's watching. Well, we call this just when you ask me a question, what you're helping me do is take the thing that I'm unconsciously competent at. That like I'm just like, oh, I'm just doing it because I know. When you ask me a question, you actually give me a chance to bring in some nuance and to distill some information in a meaningful way. And that's actually one of the like as outliers who are choosing to be trailblazers, who are choosing to go out and support other people. That skill set or that ability to be able to take that thing they were doing unconsciously and turn it into something they were doing intentionally, it's actually hard to get to. So just know that you're in service when that happens. Does it sound good?
Sounds great. Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, so let's go ahead and build this thing. So what we ultimately wanted to be doing is just making sure that um, we have a we have a pathway for someone to come through, and we're watching it for them to become a client in a way that feels really genuine to us. And so we're just going to make sure we're capturing that there. And we want to be able to catch the various stages of it, as well as like the each major component within it. We don't need to know like did they reach out, did they read like every single article, or did I make a comment back? Like some of those things are going to be ways that we choose to enhance some of the results we get. But like what we really need to know is it really just comes down to like, did we invite them? Did they schedule something? Did they show up to it? And did we make a proposal from it? Right. So Brittany, your thing has, if I'm not mistaken, has like a way that you connect with people first and foremost. And so you have a couple different ways of connecting with them. I'll come back into how we want to like capture that going forward. But for right
Mhm.
now, we'll kind of have like a connection area. And that might be like one or two different like columns. We'll see how it goes in the long run. Um, but we have a place where you connect them with them. And then you go and you're like creating with them. And so this is where I want to make sure we get into. So I'll come back on the connection stuff in just a bit. We and you can walk through that part in a little bit. But I know that you have a certain thing that you do. They're called. Do you mind if I say the name of what you call them here?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, cool. So you have a thing that's called transformation tables, right? And so for walking us through, you connect with someone, you invite them to a transformation table. The transformation table has somewhere between 1 and 4 members that could be attending that individual session. And then you have a follow-up one-on-one call with them, and then there's proposals that come from there. Is that generally the flow?
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, cool. So we're going to come back. The reason I'm coming back to the connection part is that there's going to be many, many, many different ways that you might choose to connect. So I want to make sure we're building that one out properly or more
Mhm.
robustly, but we can do like the transformation and one-on-one stuff pretty quickly. All right.
Perfect.
All right, cool. So we have the transformation tables here, right? So we're going to be looking at this part. And what we want to know is to know, um, so like, when did they schedule and when did they show? All right. And then it's basically with almost every one of these things. I used to have another S word. It was like schedule, close, schedule, show, and summit or something like that. But it essentially just ends up being your schedule, close, schedule, show, and close, right? Or like I don't know. There's another word that does. I don't love the feeling of close, but it's essentially did they move on to the next step, right? And so we have that over here with the I'm going to pull up the merging cells. We have that here with the transformation tables. And the goal here is to say, okay, how many people did like scheduled it? How many people showed up and how many closed? And we'll do this since we're doing this on an individual basis. We'll do it on like based on for them when did they do each of these things? Oh, it's so funny. I haven't used this in a while. Anything coming for you right now?
Is the show and close, are those like yes, nos, or would you put a date there as well?
Yeah, I think for the way we're gonna build this, we'll do it with a date. So, and I'll show you why when we get to the dashboard. But it will help give us a chance to be able to see, like, okay, this is what's actually happening with everything, you know.
Cool.
So let me just do this here. We'll add a little bit of a border. Okay, I don't know where the borders are, but pretend there's a pretend there's a border around this whole thing right now. All right, here
It's
we
yeah.
go. Here we go. All right. So we'll do this here, and I'm sure I can put some inner borders too, but that's less important right now from what we're trying to get done. All right. So we have the transformation table area, and then right afterwards, we're gonna transformation tables. We'll try it again, and then right afterwards, we'll put this should be like the one-on-one follow-up. And then over here, then afterwards will just be um, the one-on-one. Like I might add in here like a proposal to one because
Mhm.
it's all being here. Um, that close would be like yes or no, and then we'll also have in here like um, just to keep it simple. What we'll look at is the client package, right? We'll look at the total amount. We want to know how much the amount proposed, the amount like they actually agreed to. So I would say cash collected and cash deferred, right? So there may be some other things we might come and put in here, but I think this is going to give us a good start here, just to be able to run through the process, right?
And is the
So
difference between cash collected and cash deferred, like if it's a pay in full versus payment plan?
yeah, so what I would say is like the cash collected is how much did you actually receive when they said yes, and then the cash deferred is how much can you expect later on.
Cool.
So yeah, yeah. So if you're like it's $1,000 today and $1,000 a month for 9 months, it might be okay. Cash collected was $1,000. Cash deferred was 9,000. You saw that? Or if they pay like the whole thing, or you can pay 8 grand today and be done. And it's like great, cash collected was 8 grand, right?
Cool.
Now that's gonna be different because um, otherwise it'd be like it's a $10,000 package, but like you didn't actually get $10,000 right away. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then that then helps you be able to know how your cash flow is looking and so on and so forth. And we can have other tools to be able to break that down even further. Okay.
Cool.
All right, cool. So this is really around like the let's just call this the offer for now. Okay. And I did this in the wrong order. All right, cool. So now, like the reason we did this is that like we can now look through it and kind of just go through and say like, okay, here goes the process that someone uses when they join, right? And then you can have you can do this in a spreadsheet, you can do this in any tool that's out there, like a pipeline tool or something, just to be able to follow through with it. But now you're gonna have to get some information along the way as to like, okay, what does it look like for them, right? And I'm choosing for us to use dates because if we do dates, then we can also kind of have like some like admin stuff on the other side or some calculations. If we wanted to know like, you know, this would be like the show percentage, like there's things you do on like an aggregate basis, but there's things like you can do. It's like number of days between schedule and then close in, number of days between one and
Mm.
the other, right? So you can do this and start to get a better sense as to what happens. And then as time goes on, this gives you a chance to have more data to go through and be like, oh, actually, it turns out that I found this with me. Like, I'm going to come back and talk to you all right now for a little bit. But I found this with me where it's like, when I did this in the past, and I would come to find out that uh, there was. This is what I want to do. Here we go. I would come to find out that um, when I was like really lax, I'm like, yeah, let's just have a follow up call. If that call happened like after 10 days, like after like a week after we had scheduled it, the chances of them becoming a client went down like significantly. But if we were able to have the call on the calendar for the next 4 to 7 days, or even sooner after that, I recognize that of the people who were saying yes, we actually had there was a disproportionate amount of people who were meeting on a like pretty quickly afterwards, right? Now that this might have been like their own intention, but afterwards that gave me a chance to be able to look back and say like it isn't just the fact that we got on the calendar. It was like we got on the calendar and we kept the momentum going. All right. And so there'll be other things that we find out along the way, but by the reason I'm choosing to do this with dates and everything like that is so that we can see like, okay, how is each step moving along the way? Right. And then we'll go, I think we'll have time for me to like build out this first part of here. We'll get to the connection part in a bit, but I think it'd be cool to bring in some of like the dashboard stuff. I might regret trying to build in real time like some formulas I haven't seen in in a while, like count if this date what, so maybe not, but do want to give like the high level of it all. All right. All right, cool. So let's go back to this. Let's give it a little bit more time. All right. So we can have here. I know. Why don't we just do something really simple where we just have like for now we have like all right, and we can get into like the details of all these things in a little bit. But it's like all right, did we connect with them? What day did we initially connect with them? This happened on the 26th of November, so I use that as a date. What was the source? Let's just say you met them through Facebook. We can get more specific about that later on. I would probably end up having like an inputs, like a table thing where I can do like a drop down in the
Mm.
future, so that I can it ends up being more regulated and consistent is what I'm looking for. And then follow up like we put the day on what day did we follow up. We might have multiple follow-ups if we wanted to have like 6 or 7 touch points, right? Or whatever the touch points you want. So we might say like, okay, yeah, we followed up on the 27th of 2025. For now, let's assume that's what we did, right? For schedule, show, and close, the way I would look at that probably is I would probably fit in. um let's just assume this happens like this started today and then everything happened and this all went down before the end of the year. So let's just populate it with something. Let's say we followed up on the 27th and they scheduled something on the 27th that day. So we have that going through. They were very interested in doing this, so they scheduled it in 2 days. And then to me, the close on this one and this transformation table one for you is not about sales here. It could be about it, but it could also just be, did you invite them to the one-on-one? All right.
Mm. Mhm.
And so we might want to look at that as it goes along and be like, what exactly are we trying to get to? Are you making proposals on that? If so, then like where should proposal like how do we make sure we capture that properly? Like I would be looking to be like, did they actually schedule and confirm that they are on for the one-on-one follow-up, which is going to be also here too. So while we're building this here, we're going to use it and then we're going to transform it to what it needs to be for what we need. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right, cool. And the big thing is like once we make a decision, let's just be consistent with it. All right. So let's say they didn't end up buying on that. Let's say we decided to say close will only represent someone who came on the transformation table and that day said they were going to buy. All right. If not, we're going to capture the one-on-one stuff in the schedule. Right. You have the system that we put in place here with Outliers Edge where they schedule directly they schedule everything right off the bat. So they scheduled on the 27th for both the transformation table and the follow-up one-on-one. So they knew they were having a 2 session element, right? They scheduled for that follow-up one-on-one, let's say the 12th, let's say the 3rd of December. They showed up. You actually that conversation went really well, and like they were ready for the proposal. You made it for them, and then they decided they took 24 hours and came back to you and said, "I'm a yes." How does that feel? Does that feel like before I go forward, if these like I want to make sure this feels like it's actually going to be practical for you. So like does this like the way that I'm talking about it, the way that we're filling it in, does this feel natural? Does it feel practical? Does it feel like it's telling the story at all?
Yeah, I think it's really clear. And so the schedule is like the day that they actually scheduled their call. The
Yeah.
show is the day of their actual call. Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
that makes a lot of sense. That's really useful.
And I would say like the show is the day that they actually showed up for a call. So let's say that
Mhm.
they scheduled like the way that I'm building this right now, because I'm thinking about what I'm thinking about is the dashboard later on and being like, okay, how many days between scheduling and show, like with that, you know what I'm saying? And then I can also go and say, like, did they schedule or not? Right. Usually that's the thing people put like an X here, like, yeah, they scheduled or not. But I'm like, if we put the date here, we can easily just do like a, if blank, then it's a no. If it's not blank, then they scheduled, then they showed up, right? So this is the date that it happened. So they scheduled it on the 27th of November. They actually showed up on the 29th. If they went and rescheduled this 29th call and they didn't show up on it, you would then have deleted this and not put anything on until let's say December 1st, because that's when they were able to reschedule it for, right?
Mm.
And then you would know like, okay, they scheduled on the 27th, they actually showed up on this date, and there was no close. But you might see someone else that you come in, you're like, they scheduled on one day, they showed up on the same exact day, and they said, I'm ready to just move forward. And you're like, okay, great, I have that kind of information to know how their journey flowed. And then eventually, maybe once a quarter or for X number of people that go through, we review it and we say like, all right, like what are we finding? What are we seeing here? What's our 80/20 right now? And we continue to refine. And then my thing is just do it on purpose. It's like right now it's just gonna happen. We're gonna see what happens. We're doing it with intention, and we're being purposeful. But as we do it, we're gonna gain some more information and go from there. Okay. All right. How's this feeling for you?
Really good.
Okay. Cool. For the package, let's just say they just took on for now. Like we'll see like what we want this to represent, but they took on a 101 package. You made a proposal of I'll just put in a number right now just because it like of 25K, and you collected 5K up front and 20,000 is going to be deferred, right? Um, there could also be just like you might get a point where it's like, hey, I proposed 30K, and then we ended up with another offer that ended up being 5K and 20K later, to make it work. You get what I'm saying?
Mhm.
All right, but for right now, we'll say like this is all in. Okay, so far so good.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yes.
Oh, I just erased the whole thing. So let's do this. We have that one person here, and then I will do the same thing plus 3 days on basically everything. All right. So what I'm hoping that this will give us here. Nope, I don't want it. I pasted the wrong thing. That wasn't helpful yet. All right. I don't have shortcuts on this, so I don't know how to.
If
Uh,
you take the blue square on the
yeah,
bottom and then drag it over.
yeah. It's a formatting. I'm such a formatting person. I'm like, I don't want my formatting to go away. I think it's just easier for me to just add it by three. Honestly, like I promise you, y'all, this is not how I like to go about doing it. But let's just for the sake of time, let's go ahead and do it that way. All right. Let's see. I'm using some. Nope. It took the formatting with it. Yeah. So I knew what I was doing back in the day on how I can make everything come out exactly as I want it to be. So, but I also learned that sometimes you just got to brute force it quickly. So, I promise y'all, I got the skills. I promise. All right. It's just a save referral. All right. So far, so good.
Mhm.
And we can just put in here like a group 15K. And let's just say that they just paid the whole thing in full and they're 12K. All right. How's that sound to you? Like this, when you read through this, let me check in with you. One of the things I like to do, you're going to find my style is that like I might think I know what's going on, but I can't tell until someone can express it in their own words. So would you mind letting me know based on what you're seeing here, the journey of like potential two?
Yeah, so we're tracking someone from when they come into my world, when the connection was, where they came from, if there was a follow up needed, which leads to did they schedule a transformation table? And we can track when did they schedule it? Did they show up for it? And down the line, being able to use those dates to find out other data, like how much time between, things like that.
Yep.
Whether or not they said yes to any offers on the transformation table, or if it moves on to the one to one follow up phase. And then similar, we're tracking when did they schedule their one to one, when was the day of it, and did they show up to their one to one? What was the proposal made? Were they closed that day? And then that leads into leaning into like what is the offer? So which package are they being booked into? The money proposed and the outcome of the money, whether it was
Yep.
collected, whether it was deferred.
Nice, nice, nice. All right, cool. And then, like, if you can, just so I know if this has clarity or not, can you walk me through potential number two in particular? Like, what was their journey? Like, what was the log for them?
Yeah. So they and I had a conversation on the 29th. They were a referral from someone already in my world. I followed up with them on the 30th, which is when they scheduled both their transformation table and their one to one call.
Cool.
And then on the 2nd is when they had their transformation table. They did not sign into any package that day. And then on the 6th, they had their one to one follow up, which they did show up for. I gave them a proposal and 24 hours to either think on it or whatever the circumstance was. And they said yes on the 7th. They were booked into my group. The original proposal was for 15K. They paid in full. And so they got a bit of a discount at 12K.
Nice, 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 nice. Awesome, awesome. Let me before I go and do anything else, because I have like 4 minutes, so this might be where I end it, and I'll just send this over to you. Like, how does this feel for you in terms of like a couple different things? One, in terms of clarity for you. Two, in terms of ease for you, and three, in terms of like anything that like yeah, does it actually solve the problem that we came here to solve? Let me check in with that.
It feels really clean, really clear, and pretty easeful to add into. Um, I'm gonna look into is there a way to like systemize it by when someone books, can I have that automatically filled, or is that something that I'll do manually throughout the week? But overall, it feels really just clean and simple and straightforward. And I'm excited for the data that I'll get around their booking process. And I think that will give me the inside just an insight of what's going on behind the scenes with potential clients. And then overall, one of the things that I was struggling with my original spreadsheet was I had it kind of piecemealed in several different sections and it wasn't showing the full journey. And I really feel like I'm getting the full start to finish um, through line here with each person.
Nice, 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 nice. Yeah. And so like this is the cool part. It's like uh, I love doing this here, and I'm recognizing how much I enjoy it because it ends up making sure that we know how we're getting someone from point A to point Z, so that they can actually grow with the movement that you're leading, and actually like get the chance to benefit through their own transformation, right? And so I feel pretty good about this here right now. I think we will probably just leave it at with just these two right now. And then what I'll do, Brittany, is that I'll continue. Either I'll do it or you can do it. But like I'll probably use the same exact structure for now and build on it a dashboard. All right. And the dashboard then would be um, like I keep wanting to not show it. Another part of me is like, but then you know you're gonna show it. But a dashboard would be like the aggregated information. So it's like, okay, in general, how long? And I'll probably do that on like on the side. Like, how long does it take before someone goes to each step? It'll also look at the percentages on it as well, and that's probably what I'll look at first. So before the number of the amount of time, that's like an extra information. What we really need to know is like, I'll share my screen again with it real quick. And It's fun. Like I do this here, but a lot of this is just like, all right, what like how do like people track sales? You know what I mean? Like, but it's just like I don't know. It wasn't taught to me. Like it was like I'm like once I got, it, I was like, oh, this is it. Like this is all we're doing. And so I will. I think I have to stop sharing my screen real quick just to get us into a new tab. I don't know. There was something else that was going on. It wasn't this share screen. Um, Let me see if I can pull it up for us. Okay. So I would need to figure out how to get us and do. I don't know what is going on here. Okay. So what ended up happening is I couldn't find like how to add another sheet to it, and it's my okay. We're gonna come back to this in a bit. So let's see if this changes it. It doesn't. There we go. Here we go. We're back. We got it. We got it now. All right. So I'm gonna show you this now. You still got like 1 minute or two?
I'm good.
Okay, cool. So if I share this here, okay. So this one right here, like let's say that this is our daily inputs, was our first sheet. Yeah, I couldn't get access to this earlier. That's why I had to go back and redo it. And this would be our dashboard. And I'll probably also have like a page where we can have like the past, where you can just go and like copy each month's down. All right. Um, but I'll probably create for this dashboard. I'll create another thing where it says here's the date to be something in connection. I'm sure whatever it ends up being, and then we'll go back to transformation tables again. So I'll have like a similar structure, but then I'll just kind of have a so I'll probably have like number of people connected, right? So this is like number, and then from that number, I would also have in there. You could we didn't transfer we didn't capture like how many people you invited, but so I would probably just go and say like what percentage scheduled, so it'll be percent sched, percent percent show, and then percent close. That'll come underneath this. And I have found it to be helpful to have it like in two different ways here, and like you can maybe let us know what works best for you. But this one's like there's one that's like in aggregate and one is relative. So what is it? Absolute, and the other one's relative. Are you familiar with that?
Not really.
Okay. All right. So let me try and put it out here real quick. And then like once we do this, you'll see that the same thing would apply for the other one. And then I'm gonna take off.
Cool.
All right. Okay. So what I would probably want to do here, and I'm actually watching me on the live stream do this versus actually being in the sheet. There we go. So what I would likely do here is say, what's today's date? It's the 26th. Great. Right. I would go on and I would go in and say, let's make a formula that says uh, count if, and I might have the wrong components of it all, but count if that anchored down is equal to this day. And that did not work as I wanted it to. Oh, because I'm in a completely different year. All right, cool. So I went through this, and there was one person, according to this, that had a connection with on the 26th, right? And so like that'll give me like a starting point here, and then I can then go out and say, um, count if it's basically the same things over and over again. So count if this range here for the schedule, whatever that total amount is, divided by and it could be the count if again, or I already had it like numbered out here. So there's a way to do this here. There's no, well, I don't know why that wouldn't be. Oh, 'cause I didn't give it a sense. All right. I'll spend some time on this. I don't know if this is actually how I want to do it. I might be like, oh, other people that we connected with that day, like it's probably less count if and more V lookup, like all the things. Like I'll try and look at it and see, like, okay, like all the people we connected with that day, what percentage went through, so on and so forth. Like we're trying to figure out what the right dashboard is based on it,
Mhm.
you know. But I think that will give us like a sense of to how this would work. Or maybe I'm like, it's harder for me to do it on a daily, day by day basis, so we'll do it another way. Not necessarily sure just yet. We will figure that out. But the key here is like now that we have like the individual daily inputs, then we get a chance to come and say, okay, how do we want to be able to construct this so that there's only two, we can read the story here, but when we get to hundreds, like what is the story telling us? When it gets to this month, what is the story telling us? Or this week, what is the story telling us? All right. And I'll probably build it out for me. I know Excel, and so I'll probably build it out via Excel first, and then once I have it here, uh, I'll probably end up updating it manually to understand like, do I even have what I want to have,
Mhm.
or am I like because I can be really quick on getting into um, the what's it called, the automation of it all. But then it's like I automated something that I didn't need. And it took me like, and then I have to undo that automation without messing up the things that I didn't need and such. So I kind of just like, let me just play it out, um, see what the spreadsheet needs to actually be, and then decide, do I want to do it in here, or like would it actually be easier for me to bring it into like a Go high level or something where like there's additional support to calculate. Maybe they already do these reports, and but like I just need to know from like the brass tacks, like how does this work? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that makes
Okay.
sense.
All right, Brittany. So thank you for playing. Thanks for coming on here live to do this. Let me check in with you. What are some of your insights from this here? When I say what are some of your insights, you know that I'm meta. So it could be about the spreadsheet itself. It could be about like the interaction we just had. It could be about being live. It could have absolutely nothing to do with any of that stuff at all. You know. But why don't you share with us some of the insights you got, and we're out for today.
Sure. What's really shining through for me is how data can be so just exceptional at giving us insights and giving us feedback without it being like this personal layer that creates like stories and doubts and question marks along the way. For anyone that's listening, like I have a deep inner perfectionist that I work with. And so, like, seeing something like a spreadsheet is kind of that win win where it's like, oh, this is exciting because like there's ways that you can kind of intentionally bring in that perfectionist, but it's really just creating a data set so that I can see, like, okay, this is what's working. Let's double down. This is where there's an edge or like something needs refinement. Let's take a look at that. But it gets to be from this really neutral space of like business is neutral and feedback. I'm the person, but I'm not like wrapped up in it in my stories or in the emotions around it. While also knowing that it's important to hold that space for the emotional body and the human experience and all of that too. But it's really like this like overarching umbrella of just finding systems and processes and solutions that feel really good, feel really exciting. Because I think that there's so many ways to do business. There's so many ways to track information, to track leads and whatnot. And it's just really slowing it down and be like, okay, what works? How do I operate? Like what makes sense? What feels exciting and aligned? And like how do we create a solution from all of that?
Nice, nice. Well, Brittany, I'm grateful for you. Thanks for playing. Thanks for coming in this space and playing in this area here. I love these insights that we have along here, and it's like I'll go. I'll share one since we're both in this space right now. For me, what's interesting is like I'm experiencing myself as I'm going through this, and I am there's a twinge of excitement, a twinge of imposter syndrome, a twinge of oh no, what did I just do? um a twinge of wow, I'm also like I'm really surrounded by really awesome people who can just say yes, and such. And then there's also like an inner part of me that's just like my insides are very steady, you know. right now. And I think that there's something about this where it's like, okay, we're gonna build this in live. I'm like, I know it's gonna be messy. I'm gonna be trying to think this through as we go through it. The imposter part, or like the part that's chastising me, is like, I'm like to myself, I'm like, you should have already had this ready. It'd be so much better if you just had it ready. You could just like tweak it and all this stuff. But I think that like that part keeps me, and I like to play real with you, Brittany, and everyone, every outlier out there, where it's like, here goes what's happening inside. That part of me keeps me, because that's how my perfectionism shows up. It's like, oh, um, as a leader, I should have this already set up so that when you come in, like you're just updating the tool rather than we're building it together. Like, all those thoughts are in the mind, and then it feels really overwhelming to go and be like, I have to build all the tools before I can even go help anyone. But I only know these tools because I was helping people. And like, so it's like this catch 22 that took place. And I eventually said, you know what, I'd rather be able to be out there messy and do the work. And then I'm like, the way I describe it, Brittany, is like the best is yet to come. This is not my best yet. You know what I'm saying? Like the best is yet to come. And like imagine 15 years later, like that's where I like to be. So I'll play with you today in this space. All right.
Well, and if I could reflect, the authenticity and the realness of an entrepreneur is behind the scene, at least from me, like it's very inspirational. It shows that
Mhm.
like it doesn't need to be perfect before you can help someone else. Like it's the realness of being a leader in that space and being grounded throughout it. So I'm grateful that you were open to being messy with it today.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I think about this a lot because I'm like, there's gonna be a day where I'm just like, no, this is like, I'm not doing it this way. I'm not gonna, like, I don't need to be messy in this way. And so I'm really glad, like, this moment has been recorded forever, right? In the sense that like I don't have to be I don't have to keep reliving this, nor is it that like I can talk. I would need to talk about it from a uh, kind of like a people can go on the journey. It's documented. I'm
Mhm.
like, oh, I know what it's like to go step into something and have it feel messy. Did you watch my 10,000 minutes? They're all recorded. They're all out there. My first 10,000 minutes of live streaming, like this is it. We were making it up. Now you see these shows and you see these things and you have these people here. But like, go watch. It's right there. I love that element. But it's while it's being created, it's like, oh yeah, I know this is we're gonna go somewhere with it. Well, Brittany, thanks for playing. Thanks for playing in all the ways. I hope you also had a good experience, just like being on the live element of it, and just like once I had this thing set up, I could always just like hit go. Just like, do you want to do this? Yeah, sure. And like this time ended up being able to have multiple uses for it. So, Brittany, we're gonna end here. Outliers. This is the kind of stuff that we do in various spaces here. Like I'm constantly, my whole being is saying, how do we help you? How do we, given that you are awesome, how do we make sure that you're able to bring that out to the world on on as consistent and sustainable as a basis as possible, over and over and again, with purpose? And so, you saw us building here in real time. I'd like to focus on, as much as I'm like, oh, like, shouldn't this already be done? My thing is that I'm not here to teach you a course. You don't need that. I'm here to help you with what you are actually here to do, and we work on that in real time with your real issues and like as necessary. And over time, yes, we will more tools and so on and so forth. If any of this feels like it's right and aligned for you, come and join us in the movement. Like, this is what we do. Like let's just serve and build and co-create, like, over and over and over again. So you can go to the movement, you can click the QR code that's in this video, or you can go to school.com/outlier, and that will take you over to the Outlier Edge movement. You can come in and join us for free. All right. Until then, remember this though: be you on purpose. Journey on.